All right. We are live and we about to jump on here with the reigning unified super lightweight champion, Chantelle Cameron. What's goody old dirty? What's goody Dennis? What's goody old Mark? What's good, man? Mark, chilling. Yeah, I mean? Yeah, man, we out here. I wanted to get Chantelle on. Yo, why my camera moving slow? It look like my camera moving slow. Is it moving slow? I don't know. Look like it is. I wanted to get Chantelle on here, talk to her about what she's going to do in the fall or the winter, depending on who she ends up fighting. We know that obviously Kaylee Reis is in the running for an undisputed fight at 140, but I'm also hearing Jessica Mccaskill might be in the running, which is a good fight also. I wanted to get Chantelle's thoughts on a couple of other fights, as well as her last fight with Victoria Bustos. I had her winning every round. Couple of questions. I don't want to keep her too long. These champions, they got lives, they got things they got to do, and all of that. So I don't want to keep her too long. You know what I mean? And I might try to make it a regular thing to feature at least one fighter or one champion weekly. Just to keep names circulating. Keep faces circulating, keep stories in the news, faces in the news, things like that. I might do that. I might see about doing that weekly. I want to get Alicia on here for, I believe it's Sunday. I believe she'll be available that day. So I'll see if I can't get her on, talk to her about Michaela Mayer, see if we can't get some good sound bites, as well as why she decided to go through with it, to go to Top Rank and accept their offer, as opposed to, letting Matchroom do the show or waiting out until such a time as Matchroom does the fight. See about that. Couple of other things, man. It's a lot of things going on. I mean, I see Jake Paul. Jake Paul said that Eddie Hearn is jealous of what? I don't know. Feels like he's on borrowed time. You know what I mean? I see Hannah Rankin. She says she got fight news coming, and I've been waiting for that because I don't know if Hannah's going to end up fighting Natasha or if she's going to end up fighting Terry. Coincidentally, Terry Harper, Steffi Bull, the dynamic duo, they say they got some fight news coming. So I don't know. Maybe she going to end up fighting Terry. Maybe she going to end up fighting Natasha. I really don't know. I don't know. I figure that if she's going to fight Natasha, it'll probably be on the undercard of Shields versus Marshall. That would make sense because it's supposed to be all-female card. Virginia Fuchs, who I'm very high on. She only has one fight, but man alive, what a debut. You know what I mean? That was some hell of a debut. She left an impression. She's going to be on it. Obviously, Michaela and Alicia going to be on it. You know what I mean? And yeah, man. I'm going to see. I'm going to see if I don't get one champion here weekly. I'll see if I don't turn that into a thing. I think I might turn that into a thing. Yesterday we had Sonny Edwards. Today we got the illustrious, the incomparable, the capable, the vicious Chantelle Cameron. Last week we had Ebony Bridges. About 3 weeks before that, 2 to 3 weeks before that, we had Kaylee Reis. So yeah, I might turn that into a thing to where we regularly get a champion on here to interact with the fans. Fans get to pick their brain. You know what the rules of engagement are. If you want to ask a question to Chantelle, you have to ask it in the form of a super chat because I'm going to be looking at her. I'm not going to be looking at the chat. So when I see that color icon pop up, I'll know somebody has a question they want me to ask. Y'all know what time it is. Timmy Nealon in the building. Yummy. And we out here, man. We out here. It's a lot of things going on. The next episode of the relay is already done. So immediately after the Q&A, I will upload it for your viewing pleasure. Don't forget to hit the like button. I don't usually say that, but there's a first time for everything. Yummy. Ace of Enos. I don't know how to say that, but that's the Union Jack. Ay! Mark in the building. Yummy. And yeah, man, it's crazy out here, man. Just staying out of trouble, wearing my Marvel shirt. I want to see Thor. I heard good things, I heard bad things, but I don't really know. I'll judge it for myself when I watch it. I still haven't seen Doctor Strange. Jimbo Brown. Jimbo. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, it's a fun time to be a boxing fan because a lot of platforms are at war with each other, so that makes for interesting stuff. A lot of back and forth between fighters. There's a soundbite from Floyd Mayweather that I already see has a lot of people in their feelings, and it's already ruffled a lot of feathers, that he's saying Shakur and Devin should fight each other and leave Javante alone. I'm definitely going to do a segment on the relay when it comes to that. I'll talk about that. Even though you can imagine what I'm going to say, it's kind of confirmation of what I've been telling you, that I don't know why people have these conversations about Davis and these other fighters when he's not going to fight those other fighters. Like, it's kind of pointless. He's not going to fight them. Those fights are not going to happen. It's nice that, you could try to build a demand, but realistically, I don't see any of those fights happening. Devin would sooner end up fighting Shakur than fighting Javante. That's just not going to happen. The political thing, the platforms, all that stuff. So I already sent Chantelle a link, and she's cooling. She about to join us. She just saw it. Yep. So she about to hit the link. Already sent it. And yeah, man. LJ was good, son. Bog 708 in the building. Oh, yeah, I saw the video, bro. I try not to get involved. I saw the video. For those that are not already subscribed to Mark's channel, go to Mark's channel, hit the like button on the video, and subscribe. I like this new angle he's coming at the stories from. It's real fun. It keeps it light, but it also keeps it factual, because I saw what's been going on. There's been a lot of people on YouTube arguing with each other. I stay out of it, man. I'm old. I don't really want to argue with anybody. I don't want to argue with anybody, man. I'm old. Unless I'm gonna make some money, like I did off the other dude that I got him on here, and then I turned it into a debate, and then I turned it into a separate video with sound. Unless I'm gonna get money for doing it, I ain't doing it, fam. I am old. I could be watching Bloodsport, feel me, instead of arguing with these guys. I don't want to argue with these guys, man. Nah, the name of the channel is literally Mark. M-A-R-K. Mark. That's the name of the channel. Yeah, I mean? Yeah, man. I mean, shoot. You know what I mean? I don't want to get caught up in YouTube beefs. Like, I know that there's a very popular beef going on right now, and I just sit back and watch. The same as I would in real life. Like, I ain't getting caught up. Here comes Chantelle. Here she go. Everybody, I'd like to welcome the reigning unified super lightweight champion, 140 pounds, Chantelle Cameron. Chantelle, how you doing?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. So let's start it off with the Victoria Bustos fight that you just had. You fought Victoria Bustos, and I literally had you winning every round, literally. But I saw after the fight that you weren't really happy. Like, you seemed a little bit discontent with the performance. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, like, all credit to Victoria Bustos. Like, she's a great fighter. She's a nice person as well, and she's a former world champion. And I just felt, it just weren't really. It's quite weird to explain. It weren't really me in the ring. Like, I feel like I put on a completely different performance, which usually I'm very aggressive, come forward. But it just, like, it was quite weird. Like, the energy, like, it just weren't coming off. It was just, I went into just boxing mode. I think I didn't have that, like, savageness in me that night. So I think, yeah, it was just it was a really weird one. I can't really explain it. I can't really put it into words, but it was just a bit of a weird one for me. I think I didn't have that bite that I usually have. And maybe just because I thought she was such a nice girl, I don't know. Like, I just didn't feel like it was my normal wanting to take someone's head off self, whereas I was just relaxed. I think it was just, I was so relaxed. I was having fun. And it felt like a sparring session without being disrespectful, because I got a lot of time for Victoria, great opponent, but I just didn't feel like I was coming out with my gears, going through the gears.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it was because you were anticipating that by that time you would be fighting in an undisputed fight, but it ended up being a title defense as opposed to the undisputed fight? Was that the reason that maybe you weren't as primed for the fight?
Yeah, I'd say so, because like, people don't know the ins and outs of your camp, of your personal life, and rah. But like, it was been a frustrating couple of months beforehand, and before the fight was announced, it was like I was really pissed off, basically, like what was going on. My career had stalled again, and I was just pissed off. So I don't know if that was in the fight. I was just like going through the motions. I didn't have that same buzz that I was expecting to have being undisputed. Like, I always say, like, all I want to be is undisputed, and that's been my goal. And I feel like it was another step back to achieving that, when I thought that was going to be happening for me next. So I don't know if it was that, but yeah, a lot of respect for Victoria, and I'll keep saying that. But I think she is a great opponent and a very like respectful opponent as well. Like she's not the trash talk, not disrespectful. She's just a nice person.
Speaking of trash talk, I saw that there was a back and forth between you and Mary McGee, who you fought for the IBF and you took that title. What was that about? Because I seen that. I think it was on Instagram. Y'all was going back and forth. I saw her post and I saw your post. I thought y'all was cool after the fight. Like I thought y'all was like, oh, they good. You know, they settled their differences as professionals, as champions, and they cool now. Apparently not.
We was cool before the fight, but after the fight, that's where it was a bit like got a bit heated because before the fight, she was so respectful and we was both champions. We was both putting our belts on the line. But obviously, I beat her in you could say a close fight, but I won 8 out of 10 rounds. So you say yeah, it was a close fight, but I won over half the rounds. Like, I won a lot of them rounds. I say I lost 1 or 2 rounds in that fight. So yeah, I think obviously she wants the rematch, but that's not the way to go about a rematch. I said after the fight, I'd love to give her the rematch. It's for the fans. It will be a good rematch, but you carry on like that, you're not going to jump to a rematch, are you? Because at the end of the day, I've got other things to carry on with. We entered the tournament. That was a semi-final. I won that. I've moved forward. So why would I take a step back to box Mary when I've beat her and she doesn't have the belt? So I took her belt. So I'm waiting for that undisputed shot. So the rematch will happen one day, maybe not. But carry on like that, like trying to get the rematch that way. She should focus on boxing someone and getting a win, really, instead of coming at me.
Mm-mm. Now, when it came to the undisputed fight, I actually spoke to Kaylee Reis, and she imparted to me, what was the delay? That it's a medical issue. But I saw that, like it kind of felt like, was there a lack of communication between the teams? In other words, to where you didn't know what was going on and you didn't know why the fight wasn't happening. Was there a lack of communication?
Yeah, his lack of communication. Obviously, wish Caddy speedy recovery because at the end of the day, it's boxing. Like your health's a lot more important than a boxing fight. As much as I want to be undisputed champion, I'd rather someone be healthy and well because then their life's short as it is. Like you're not going to be kicking off your first because someone can't fight because of their health issues. But from my point of view, it was just well, what's happening with me then? Because I don't want to be waiting a year, or however long, to get another fight. Because like that's just holding me stagnant. I'm 31. I'm not no spring chicken. It's not like I'm 20 anymore. You know what I mean? So I want to be moving and being so it flies everywhere, wanting to be active and stuff. So yeah, it was just more not knowing what was happening, when I was going to be fighting next. Am I fighting? Like what was going on? But a great team behind me. My manager got everything sorted and got me a run out, which was Victoria Bustos, and it was a worthy opponent as well. And kind of everything happens for a reason. I'm quite glad that I got that run out as well because I kind of seen where I'm at and where I've got to be and making improvements. So I got that run out was probably really good for me anyway.
Mm-mm. And I see that Jessica Mccaskill, she's targeting you. I saw her fight with Alma Ibarra. I have to admit, she really exceeded my expectations because I thought that fight with that particular fighter was going to be very difficult. That was a fighter that campaigned all the way up there at middleweight, came
Yeah,
down to welterweight. Did you see that fight?
I did. I watched it. She overwhelmed her, and I think that's her strength. She overwhelms her opponents, and she's a strong, tough girl. But yeah, I won that fight. So when I boxed Victoria after the fight, I was like, "Who's next?" And I was like, "Jessica Mccaskill." Jessica had her fight. She won, and she's saying she wants me next. The fight's there to be made. Like we're both with the same promotion, but the fight will be made if it's on both terms.
And that's what I wanted to ask you about because Rick Ramos, a very good guy, he maintained that they want Jessica to come down to 40 and they want it to be for your belts. But I was wondering, like, how do you feel? Do you want it to be above 40 for her belts for Undisputed?
So this is what I've said is like, why not 140 and just put all the belts on the line? Just make it a mega fight. She has all the belts, so why box for 3 belts when you have all the belts? 147. Don't box at 147. Come down to 140. Doesn't bother me. But if I'm going to put my belts on the line, if you're undisputed champion, put your belts on the line as well, and let's make it a big fight. And I think that's the way to do it, and it can be done as well. Just got to agree with it.
Tyrese says, "Wham Bam Cham Cam." I remember they used to call you that many years ago. Wham Bam Cham Cam. Appreciate that, Ty. Now, as far as that fight, do you have a preference? Would you prefer a Mccaskill fight over a Reis fight, or is it both fine by you?
So I'd love the Mccaskill fight because she said like back in 2018 they reached out to fight me, but obviously I was with a different team back then, and like I'm not going to go into that. But the ins and outs of that is I was like a 3-0 novice, and they wanted to fight me, and my team didn't want anything to do with that. But that was not my negotiations or any from my side. Like, I was just progressing through the pro ranks anyway. So my team didn't want that fight for me at the time. And then obviously 140, I went moved to 140, won my mandatory. Jessica was champion. I thought I was boxing Mccaskill, like I was preparing for Mccaskill. She vacated boxer Celia, which obviously made sense for her career because it was an undisputed fight. So see why that was a much bigger fight. And then obviously she got undisputed at 147. I become unified at 140. So the fight's there to be made now. Like, it makes sense as well. Like, everything does happen for a reason. And now I've got belts, she's got belts. So put all the belts on the line and let's fight. But so for me, McCaskill's a bigger draw for me because she's obviously undisputed. She's been in there with Celia Bracker, Katie Taylor, great fighter, tough fighter, and I think we'll put on a very good fight. But at the end of the day, undisputed is what I want. So if Callie's going to be fit and ready to fight, then I kind of would like Callie Reis.
Old Dirty Boxing asks, if offered, would you cross over to Sky? Woo!
Sorry. That's to do with my team and stuff. Like, obviously, I want to be undisputed and Matchroom have them fighters for me, but Sky are doing massive things for boxing, and few people have moved over and stuff. But yeah, I can't really answer that because as long as Matchroom start looking after me and getting me the fights I want and pushing me a bit more out there with my profile and stuff, then obviously you stick with Matchroom because the belt situation. But obviously it's a short career, ain't it? So you never know, anything could happen.
Oh, well, I mean, you got the skills, man. Like, you got the skills to where you could be doing this till you're 40. You never know, because you don't get hit a lot. You know what I mean? You don't get hit a lot. So with the Mccaskill fight, conversations for that fight, they haven't taken place yet. Like, there hasn't been a dialogue per se between the two teams to do the fight.
Not really. Like, me and my manager have been speaking and saying, Mccaskill fight makes sense, but I want the belts as well. So I'm not gonna just put my belts on the line and I'm risking everything when she has all the belts as well. Throw your belts in, and the fight is easy to make. Literally, it's simple. In terms of put your belts on, I put my belts on. Bam, there's the fight. But if it's not going to be that way, then obviously I have other options. I have the undisputed option with Kelly Reis, or I'd have a title defense against someone else and wait for Kelly Reis. But I want to be undisputed, so that's simply it.
And how do you evaluate a Mccaskill fight? Because she's different than other boxers in the sense that she's unconventional. She's very physically strong, but she's very unorthodox. How do you deal with somebody like that they're basically trying to overpower you and overwhelm you? How would you approach a fight like that?
I think her strengths are very good. Like, what she does works, obviously, because what her career is really taken off and she's doing amazing. But I'm tough as well, so I never would let someone bully me in the ring. So it would be, I'm strong as well. I'm physically strong, and obviously I'll just box a bit more, and I adapt very well. So I can fight, I can box, I can stay inside and fight, I can box long. So for me, it's I can read a fight as well. So when she's throwing them big bombs, they've got to land, and I'm quite fast as well. So hit, move, and I do whatever I do to win. But I wouldn't let someone bully me in the ring. Like, I'd stand there and stand to my ground.
Were you excited when you saw? Because just you as a fighter and a competitor, you seem a very competitive person. Were you excited when you saw that, like, wow, Jessica's really just manhandling Ibarra? Like, she's just did that like motivate you? Like, yeah, I really want that Mccaskill fight.
In Bergs, I thought, listen, that wouldn't happen to me. Like, I wouldn't allow it. I've got too much pride. I'd stand there, and if we had to wrestle, we'd have to wrestle, and if we had to war, we had to war. But yeah, it did excite me. As I thought, she's improved as well. She's improved, but I just think I'm an all-round better fighter, better boxer, better fighter, and I think I just got that edge, and I adapt very well. I think Jessica, that's her style, and that's what she does. But can she adapt? And it's a right throwing one, but when they're coming back and you're getting hit on your chin, I can hit as well. So it's how you take that as well. So I think it just makes an interesting fight. But if it gets made, I'll be more than ready.
Alma Ibarra made the decision after that fight to retire from the sport. She announced it approximately 2-3 days after the fight, after that Saturday. What do you make of that, her retiring that way?
A bit sad, really, because like obviously she is a good boxer and her career spoke volumes, really. But she has a child, doesn't she? So I think that's down to her. And maybe she was very overwhelmed that she just thought, I don't want to be punched in my face anymore. Don't blame her, really. Who does?
Yeah, I mean, hit not get hit. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to get punched in the face. Now,
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I haven't spoken to you since before Taylor versus Serrano, and I wanted to get your thoughts and your reaction of that fight. You know, when you were watching it, was it what you expected? And how did you feel about that fight after the fight?
Firstly, the fifth round, bloody hell! Like, I was literally like, couldn't even speak. I was like, fucking hell! Like, what? It's done. Like, and the way that Katie bounced back as well, I was just like, it was insane. So what a fight, and what them both with the women have done for women's boxing is just like different level, ain't it, completely, and it's raised the bar again. But yeah, great fight, and I think very close. And to be fair, I would have loved to have seen the rematch. I would have loved to have seen the rematch again. But obviously, Serrano's got a fight coming up, and Katie's having some crossover fight or something. Well, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about either Chris Cyborg or Holly Holm. Personally, I'd prefer to see Holly Holm. She's not a fish out of water. She's boxed at a very high level before. But when you looked out into that audience and you saw how many people were there for a women's boxing match that was a main event, did that make you emotional to see, like, wow, yo, like it's really it's picking up, like, it's because they were there for Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Did that make you feel emotional as a female boxer?
I can remember I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, you never could imagine picturing that, because obviously you weren't there, you was watching it on the TV, but you was like, God, how much it's changed. Like, all these people coming out to support a women's headlining fight, and I just thought, like, I couldn't even imagine how they must have been feeling walking out. I can remember I just sat there thinking, God, I'd love that day for something like that to happen to me, because like that's a boxer's dream, ain't it, to walk out to something like that. And I just kept thinking how they must be feeling, because it must have been like a completely different experience.
Mm-mm. With those things in mind, we got another major fight. It involves a friend of yours, Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields, and you know it's a great fight. Do you feel that the size and scale of that fight is on par with Taylor versus Serrano and the size and scale of that fight? Nope. She'll be right back after these commercial messages. Oh, there she is.
Sorry, my dad was ringing me. I just had to ignore him. So that
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
So I think, yeah, 100%. And to be honest, I think Savannah and Clarissa is so funny. So I was in camp last week, and I can remember I had to tune in to watch it, and I was literally laughing out loud at some of the things. And you don't get many press conferences where you're actually like laughing out physically loud, because I think it was just like, because Savannah as well, and it's her personality. So like some of the comments are just literally just finished me. So I think that is drawing in such a crowd, because it is entertaining, and they've not even had the fight yet. That's just the first press conference, like face to face, really. So yeah, it's going to be massive. and especially in the UK as well. Sky are really backing it. You can tell Sky are like really going for it for them, and they deserve it as well. They deserve all the publicity they can get for it.
And
And
you've known
female cat.
you've known Savannah for many, many years. A lot of people are just becoming familiar with her because she's really she's like, wow, the way she stops girls. Was she like that in the amateurs? Like, did she always have that kind of power?
Yeah, like everyone used to always say how hard she hits and stuff, but obviously in the amateurs you have the big head guard on, the big gloves and stuff, but she's always been able to whack. Remember like sparring her and stuff, and you think, oh god, shit's so hard. You try not to land a good shot on her, you didn't want her to thump you.
Wow. Now another fight on that card. Great fight. Like it's the whole card's gonna be great. They got Mayer versus Baumgardner
Oh,
as it's a great fight. How do you see that fight?
you know what? That fight is so good, and what a good Chief support as well. Like, oh, it's unbelievable. I'm excited for that card. It's like So we've known Michaela since the amateurs as well, and I think she's got such a good style. So I like. Obviously, we've seen Alicia when she stopped Terry Harper, and then I watched her fight not long ago in the UK again. But I don't know, I'm edging Michaela Mayer because I think she's just got a very good IQ, and she's all-rounder as well. And I think she's definitely up there for one of the pound-for-pound best.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm gonna admit I'm very biased going for Alicia. I'm very biased, but I understand. Like, I get when people say what they say, that she's very experienced. What
I'll say is Alicia showed her power. So boxing, like, she's got some freakish power. Like what happened with Terry Harper, I've never seen a stoppage like it. So she's got them hands, and them hands you could finish the fight, so you don't know. That's why it's so exciting. If it weren't a 50-50, like, it wouldn't be as exciting, but these fights are genuine 50-50s. You just don't know what's going to happen.
Now, speaking of, I wouldn't call it a 50-50. I wouldn't call it that, but it's certainly an important fight. Your Matchroom stablemate Anthony Joshua returns to the ring against Alexander Usyk, and I would love for him to win that fight because I feel that the heavyweight division is actually better for him being there and fighting the people that, win or lose, he fights the people that they put in front of him. But what kind of chance do you give him to beat somebody because Usyk is a bad dude, man. He's a bad dude.
Yeah, like, it's just, how much is AJ going to change? It'll be under a year, and it's like, how much of his style can you actually change? And I think Usyk he's unbelievable, isn't he? Like, you watch him all day. He's like a magician, really. So I think it's a hard ask, but I just think Usyk's going to get the win again. I just don't think AJ changed that much in a short period of time, really. Like, it's a big ask and a lot to change. And I think as much as you go into a dogfight, he has showed a bit of runnability and is a little bit gun shy now. So have you actually got that grip to get into a dogfight? And if you do get into a dogfight, are you going to get caught and put down?
That's a fair point. I mean, like, it kind of looks like what he has to change isn't something big, but it's a major change. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not something big that you have to change, but if you change, it would be major because you tried it with the guy and it didn't work. Also, we got a Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin. What is your excitement level, both as a boxer and a boxing fan, for that trilogy?
To be completely honest, it's kind of like, I'm a massive fan of Triple G, but I kind of wouldn't want to see it anymore. I think the times, like, I'm not that excited for it, to be honest. I think like, when the fight did happen, it was the two great fights, massive. But I think as age caught up with Triple G, like, everyone gets to that stage where it does catch up, and I think maybe it has got up a little bit. So I'd actually rather not see it.
Oh, I dig it. So what did you?
Fan of Triple G, and I just think now Canelo's. I think Canelo will stop him.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I see the fight. I don't actually think he's going to cold sleep him, though. I think it'll be a referee stoppage. I think he'll force Triple G to take a knee from a body shot, And then, when he gets up, he'll jump on him. Ref will get between him, fight will be over. Because Triple G's got a hell of a chin. He can take the head punches.
Like, he takes some big. That's why I don't want to see the fight, because I just don't think. I just don't want to see it.
Yo, I know where you coming from. I was like that with Roy Jones. I was just like that. Like, they slid my man Roy under the ring. I was very sad that whole weekend. Very, very sad. So I know where you are, and I know where you're coming from with that.
Yeah.
Beyond that, did you catch Canelo versus Bivol? And if you did, having seen what you saw, do you think he could beat him in a rematch?
No, I think it was too much to ask. I think obviously he went up to that weight, didn't he? And like, he dared to be great, so fair play to him for that. But I think it's just a step too far. Canelo is unbelievable. I'm actually a massive fan of him as well. But I think it was just too much to ask. Like, there's just sometimes you go a bit too far. I think to fight Bivol at the weight was just a bit too far. I think he was a big, stronger man. He could box well, and I don't think he'll win the rematch either. But it wasn't easy, but it was quite an easy fight for Bivol, I think.
I mean, he looked really comfortable, and you being a fighter that has moved up in weight in the past, because I remember you used to campaign at 135 and you moved up. What are some of the things that you experienced as a fighter, or what are some of the things that a fighter experiences as they move up that I guess changes?
I think like your sharpness and stuff, because you go up to a new weight and you're obviously boxing bigger girls or bigger guys, and because you're used to campaigning at a lower weight, you don't feel as sharp and switched on a bit. You feel like you got a bit more power maybe behind your shots, but you ain't got that sharpness. Whereas I feel like I'm a lot more sharp at lightweight.
We saw that Natasha Jonas. She went all the way up there to junior middleweight. She fought Chris Namas. And were you shocked that the fight ended the way it did, that she carried that much power? Because I was scared for her. I ain't gonna lie. I picked her to win, but I was scared for her. Like, yo, you don't belong up there, yo.
But I was there as well. I was ringside, and that was some stoppage. Literally, it was folded like a deck chair. I think she's an all-round athlete. Like, Tasha's been around the game for years now, competed at a high level throughout. So even though it was a massive weight difference, kind of like you knew Tasha had that pedigree anyway to be okay at there. And I think she was just levels above. And I think she caught the girl. It was a good night.
Well, now Terry Harper, there's rumors, there's rumblings. Well, it's not a rumor that they want to go to 54 and they want to take on Hannah Rankin. Do you feel like that's a bridge too far for a fighter that campaigned as low as 130?
Again, I think it's a little bit different for the women, because in the women's divisions, there's not that many of us, and the depth of talent, like, we haven't got a lot to work with anyway. So I think jumping up the weights, I don't think it's like that much of an issue. And Terry's a very good technical boxer as well. So I think Terry will be fine up there, to be honest.
I see that an old amateur adversary. I don't know if you're familiar with her. Mary Spencer of Canada.
Oh, yeah.
She's calling out Natasha Jonas in the pros. What do you think that Natasha will have a better chance as a professional against Mary than what happened in the amateurs?
What happened in the amateurs? Did they box?
Oh, yeah, she got knocked out.
Who, Mary got knocked out?
Nah, Tasha.
Got knocked out by Mary?
Yeah, 2 rounds.
Really? I didn't know that.
Look, they very recently interviewed Mary Spencer. I just watched her. I was amazed by her, honestly.
Wow.
And she said that if she fights me as a professional boxer, it's going to go the same way it did in the amateurs. So then I look at the amateur records and I see that, they fought a long time ago. And apparently she stopped Natasha in the amateurs. But what I notice is, look, Natasha is a lot more experienced as a professional than Mary is. Mary's only like 5-0 as a professional, whereas Natasha boxed Vivian Obanoff, boxed Katie Taylor, boxed Terry Harper, boxed Chris Namas. So, like, Do you feel that that might give Natasha an edge in the pro ranks that perhaps she didn't have as an amateur?
I always say as well, like different to the pros, completely different. So I'd say, and Tasha's more experienced now. She's been boxing a lot longer, but obviously I'm going to be biased towards Tasha anyway.
I think we all biased towards Sasha, but I'm scared. I'm gonna be real. When I see stuff like that, I feel like a dad. Like, nah, son, don't fight her. I don't want Tasha. I don't want. I don't want her to fight her.
Tasha versus Hannah Rankin, I'd like to see.
Oh yeah, I mean that fight makes more sense to me because even though it's risky, there's a big reward. You become a unified champion, so it's worth it. But with Mary's like 6 feet tall at 154. She's massive. Like it's noticeable. Like, nah, this is not right. So new country says hello. What is your opinion of Bam Rodriguez?
Brilliant, very very good.
Yeah, that kid's something special. So, short-term goals for this year. Before this year ends, what do you want to happen?
I would have said to be undisputed, but after what happened in October and delaying that, like that's gone out the window now. To be honest, my goals are actually not boxing.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yeah, because I think I just enjoy boxing, keep winning, and just have some fun. And what happens, happens. And as long as I'm enjoying it, then I'd achieve what I want to. So my goals are outside of boxing now.
Now, I saw very recently you came here stateside. You were in Florida. You were in Miami.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that trip?
It was good. Yeah, it was a nice little break. Too hot though. It's too hot in the UK at the minute. Literally dying of heat.
Yeah, I see everybody in the UK complain. Like literally everyone is complaining about the heat. Like, what's going on over there?
Can't handle it. Can't breathe.
But you got an air conditioner, right?
No, none. That's what I mean. England can't deal with the heat. We have no air conditioner or nothing. Unless you're mega rich and you can afford aircon, but I'm at that stage of my life.
Wow, you learn something because like here, at least where I am, I have central air conditioning. So yeah, it's burning up outside, but it came with the place. It's not like a unit. It's literally came with the place.
Yeah, I'm literally sweating to death.
Well, at least you ain't gonna have to worry about making weight. You know what I mean? You're sitting there sweating. You know what I mean? What else? I guess what's one last one? What's one? I feel like I'm missing something. All right. So that's your goal for, this year. Is there anything that you aspire to next year in 2023?
2023, I'd just say, obviously, like, it's just a bit of a weird one because I'm always saying I want the big fights. It's just, I feel like I'm a broken record. I want to be interviewed. I want the big fights, but they're not happening for me. So I'm just going to stop wishing for it now because it's not happening. So I'm just going to focus on boxing, focus on improving. And as long as I'm improving and as long as I'm working hard in the gym, I'm not going to be beaten. And as long as I keep my head down and keep working hard, keep working on my strengths and working on my weaknesses, and I just think I've got it. But yeah, so for me, I think I just had to change my mindset. Like after my fight in October, I was just so like disappointed and frustrated that I had to change my mindset. Whereas I thought, stop setting yourself goals now because when they don't happen, it's just you're setting yourself up for disappointment. So for me, it's just more working on myself instead of stuff that could happen in boxing. Just working on myself and making sure that I'm doing everything I can do. And as long as I'm doing that, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, don't feel too bad. You didn't lose a round. I was like, I put the scorecard away because I was like, yo, she won. Like, after I was like, man, she won every round. Like, so don't feel too bad. The boxing is fine. You didn't lose a round. She's a 2-division. For those that don't know, Victoria Bustos was a former 2-division IBF champion. So she wasn't just somebody from around the way or nothing. That was somebody that they've been around. They box, and then you didn't lose a round. So don't feel too bad. Don't kick yourself.
It was a good learning fight for me. It was very tricky. It was tricky and actually it was awkward, making it hard to get her out of there because the fact like she was bending low for her shots, so I couldn't get my body shots off. Just making it like very hard to land my shots. So it was a good learning fight for me. Very good.
Where would you say your ceiling is? Because you look like you have the right dimensions to maybe go to 147 in the future, not the immediate future, but the future. Like maybe you could end your career as a welterweight. Is that possible?
Yeah, so like I think yeah, because my coaches they don't really want me to go up or 7 because I think it's a bit like I don't need to go up there now. But and I don't think I'll perform very well at 147. But obviously if the belts were there and the belts on the line, then I want to go up. But I definitely wouldn't stay up there. So the plan would be as if everything goes how I'd like it to go, become undisputed, maybe at 147, but then I don't think I would stay up there. I'd come back down because I want to have a few more fights at lightweight as well because I think that's where I perform the best.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you haven't looked bad in any fight. So that's just me watching. I haven't. I think the hardest fight was the McGee fight, but you didn't look bad. Like it was just good fight, good fighters gonna give each other a good fight. You haven't looked bad at 35. Haven't looked bad at 40. Probably won't look bad at 47.
Yeah, I think maybe in the future in that, but it'd have to be something up there for me as well. Something up there that will make me go up.
Understood. Understood. Chantelle, won't take up any more of your time. I know it's hot. It's very hot over there. And I know you're probably very tired. So I'm going to let you be. Always welcome on the channel. Thank you for your time.
Your time as well.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.